Welcome to the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. My name is Danny Heifetz, and I'm joined by Danny Kelly and Craig Horlbeck. And today it is Power Hour, where we power rank something every Wednesday. And today we are power ranking the bad vibes, the teams with the absolute worst, most atrocious vibes imaginable. We are power ranking. DK, you're the vibes king.
These poor teams. I feel bad for them and their fans.
We're going to go through and we're going to rank. We actually all submitted our rankings and we ranked the teams with the worst vibes. And we're going to just go through them one by one, power hour style. But first, we're going to hit the Monday Night Football games. There were 2 Monday Night Football games. We didn't get to hit it on the episode that came out Monday night, Tuesday, Monday overnight, whatever you want to call it. So there were 2 Monday Night Football games. I want to start with Falcons-Bills. Falcons won 24-14.
As you predicted, Heifetz.
Well, I said the Falcons defense was just so hard to... so insurmountable. I cited how they were number 1 in DVOA on defense. DK really pushed back saying, how could the Falcons possibly be that good on defense? DK just was
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Or DK, what do you have to say for yourself?
Yeah, DK, what do you think?
I feel like people that didn't listen to that episode are going to think you guys are being serious. Heifetz poo-pooed me very, very sternly when I suggested that the Falcons defense is good. Based on empirical data, he's like, no, I just watched them lose 30-0 to the Panthers. I think the biggest thing we learned from that game is the Panthers are maybe kind of good. I don't know, because the Falcons looked awesome in this game on both sides of the ball. They obviously jumped out to a big lead early on. That could have been an even bigger lead. Craig, I wanted to get your take on this, actually, because that Drake London play was obviously pretty pivotal.
Mm-hmm.
I rewatched it this morning. He should have got it in. I think he fucked it up.
Well, I mean, he was trying. What do you mean? He stepped out like
I think
6
he blew
inches
it.
before
That's what I'm saying. I think he blew it. He should have scored there.
This is...
I don't think
I was upset when I rewatched it.
I thought it was cool. Like their intention was clearly like to try to get closer to a field goal, and then he broke free and was like, "Fuck it, I'm just going to go for it."
Yeah.
Which I really respect. And I mean, and if you're in that situation and you're Drake London, like you're going for it. So yeah,
I don't have any problem with him going for it. I just think the fact that he stepped out was like a huge blunder. He should have been in.
What are you talking about? He was trying really hard.
No. I think he messed up. That's my point.
This reminds me.
I think it was a huge error on his part.
I mean, I don't know.
The way DK is talking about this reminds me of like when I watched the Olympics and the gymnasts like trip a little on the landing and they move. I'm like, oh, didn't stick it.
I don't know.
I can't believe you didn't do that.
I'm being a stickler, clearly, obviously, but like
stern.
If you rewatch the play, I'm like, there's no way he didn't get in. I can't believe he didn't get in.
I thought he got in.
Absolutely should have gotten in.
Yeah. So Drake London in this game, Drake London had 10 catches, 158 yards and a touchdown. As DK said, really failed not having 2 touchdowns.
Well, and he had 9 for 147 at halftime.
I mean, he looked great.
He only had 1
otherwise.
catch in the second half. Yes. This game, the score suggests this game was closer than it is. I mean, there was a while there where it was ugly, where it was 21-14, and they just kept punting to each other. But like you said, DK, they should have scored on that play, or at the very least gotten a field goal. There was another possession where they probably should have gotten a field goal. This game was more out of hand and more lopsided than the box score suggested. Like the Bills and Josh Allen couldn't do anything. The Falcons blitzed the shit out of the Bills, and it worked.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And then Atlanta's offense, I mean, move the ball at will. Like it was to pass it to the Italians offense of Bijan Robinson and Drake London over and over and over. And I just love the way Atlanta uses Bijan. It's awesome. It's like a true funnel offense. The pistol is super weird, but recently Jordan Rodriguez and Greg Rosenthal were talking about this on NFL Daily, but like they do that basically as a way to get Bijan more vision. They like treat him almost like a quarterback where it's like shotgun for a running back.
He's like running downhill, right? Like
he's running downhill
momentum.
And he can see the second level better. And Bijan has a little bit of Le'Veon Bell to his game for how explosive he is. He's quite patient as well. And he kind of like skates back and forth. And so this pistol kind of gives him more room for vision to kind of see where things are going. And make these incredible cuts. I mean, he's clearly the best running back in the league, and they're always getting him the ball in space. He's used as a receiver as well. I just think it's awesome how they use him.
Bijan's amazing. I mean, that clip went viral early this season of Saquon saying Bijan is easily the best guy in the league at making people miss. I think even Saquon is someone that guilty at times of probably bouncing stuff outside a lot. What I love about Bijan, he's always trying to get north-south. Like Bijan is always in the coolest way possible, getting upfield. Sometimes cool players are kind of just bouncing it. Bijan mixes being really cool with always gaining yardage, which I love. But so Bijan had 19 carries, 170 rushing yards, touchdown. He also had 6 catches for 68 yards. So that rounds out to a neat 25 touches for 238 yards from scrimmage and a touchdown. Josh Kendall at The Athletic notes that is 1 yard shy of the most in the NFL this season. You know, Bijan, I mean, who can really touch Rico Dowdle, the real best running back in the NFC
Right.
South. But Bijan leads the NFL in yards from scrimmage, even though the Falcons have only played 5 games. I think he's probably the best skill player in the NFL overall, too. I think you could say that. I know Puka's having a good season, but Puka just got hurt. Like, realistically, you're looking at it like Bijan Gibbs, whatever you want to call it. But I think Bijan, sometimes, fair or not, you do need a primetime game for everyone to actually agree on something.
For sure.
And this was that primetime game where I think everyone now can agree that, like, it will probably be going forward, just the mainstream opinion, what Craig said, that Bijan is just firmly the best running back in the league.
DK.
Yeah.
Better win for the Falcons or worse loss for the Bills?
I think better win for the Falcons because their defense showed up, obviously put Heifetz in his place, which was the most important thing.
Well, really, it was you because you're the one who doubted them. So.
Right.
Yeah, go back and listen to that FanDuel ad. It was DK giving that bet so passionately.
Exactly. I forgot I was in an ad. You're right.
Also, I think this was big. It was big for Penix. He looked pretty good out there in terms of decisiveness, like finding his receivers, getting rid of the ball quickly. Yeah, and obviously I'm kind of joking about London. He looked great too. But they have just such an exciting team with Bijan, London, Penix, and then that defense which blitzes the crap. I think I saw they blitzed on all but 1 third down, and they were just like harassing Josh Allen on every play. So it was very cool to see. I
also want to shout out to Jeff Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator for the Falcons, who frankly is probably mostly famous because he's the one whose son prank called Shedeur Sanders on draft day. But Jeff.
Yeah.
But Jeff Ulbrich is kind of that defensive tree that developed under Shanahan. But he was with the Niners and Robert Saleh for a long time. And then when Robert Saleh was the Jets head coach, Ulbrich was there. Well, he was in Atlanta in 2020, and then he worked for Robert Saleh with the Jets. And then now he's the coordinator for the Falcons. And honestly, the last 4 years, I don't know if anyone's really been better at stopping Josh than Jeff Ulbrich. It's, he's not perfect. I think he's 3-4 versus Josh the last 4 seasons. But Josh Allen's like 30 games above 500 over everybody else. You know what I mean? So basically batting 50-50 against Josh. Josh's EPA per play against Jeff Ulbrich between the Jets and Falcons now, the last 6-7 games is a quarter of what it is versus all these other teams. So I think the coordination of Atlanta is good, but also they have talent. Even the ironically, the defensive ends that they drafted this year aren't even necessarily the reason they're getting this pass rush, but it's unquestionably the best pass rush the Falcons have had. And
a long time,
almost 15 years. But on that note, also Josh Kendall at The Athletic noted Falcons have held their first 5 opponents under 300 yards for the first time since 1998. So it really is the best Falcons defense we've seen in a long time. But
now you're in on the defense.
I said weeks ago, I've said for years that the Atlanta Falconing and the reason they blow these leads is they don't have a pass rush. And I acknowledge that they had a pass rush. My quibble was being number 1 in DVOA.
Which they still are, by the way.
Well, now
it makes sense.
I thought they looked more like a top, 2.
Sure.
3, 1. I was wrong.
One other thing I wanted to throw out here, Bijan is averaging 164 scrimmage yards a game, which is 35 more almost than the next closest guy, which is Christian McCaffrey. He's on pace for, hold on, I pull it up here, almost 2,800 scrimmage yards this year. So he's absolutely going off.
Bijan is unbelievable. And so the only hiccup for Atlanta in this, I agree, though, to Craig's point, better win for Atlanta than loss for the Bills. We'll get to the Bills in a second. The only hiccup for Atlanta, Jake Matthews, the left tackle, who's been there forever, has injured his ankle. We'll see what the deal is, but he doesn't miss time. Caleb McGarry, the right tackle, got hurt before the season, kind of got buried because Rashawn Slater also got hurt. But so Atlanta already had, their swing tackle, Storm Norton, has also been out this year. So the Atlanta kind of had
Storm
Norton. He sounds like a Viking god. But the 4th string tackle was playing at right tackle. So now when the left tackle got hurt, it's like the 4th string guy is at right, and now the 5th string guy is at left, which is worth monitoring. But again, Bijan, they're using him so much as a receiver. I'm not worried about Bijan for fantasy. Like at the end of the day, like there's Penix, like Baker, just ripping passes. So Atlanta looked different. Cool uniforms, cool. It's good.
Great
if Atlanta's
uniforms,
fun.
Fantastic uniforms.
Throwbacks. Some of the throwbacks suck, but the Atlanta and then after the Bucs Seahawks game a couple weeks ago, the right jerseys are coming back. I will say about the Bills, they look terrible. Josh looked uncomfortable, but I don't know where to start with Buffalo other than this. I'm going to just read their injuries because I think you have to read the whole list. It's shocking. The center, Connor McGovern, left mid-game, and then Josh Allen immediately got sacked and hurt his left hand and then tried to hide it, which I thought summarized everything. Dalton Kincaid was inactive with an oblique injury. Curtis Samuel has a neck and a rib injury at receiver. Josh Palmer injured his knee looked like during the game. It was kind of bad. Defensive tackle Daquan Jones hurt his calf in pregame warmups. TJ Sanders, the other defensive tackle, is already on IR. So is Dwayne Carter, the other defensive tackle. Matt Milano has a pec injury. Terrell Bernard, the linebacker, hurt his ankle in this game. DeMar Hamlin, the safety, also has a pec injury. Cole Bishop was cramping during this game at safety. Maxwell Hairston and Dorian Strong, 2 rookie cornerbacks, basically have barely played combined. Christian Benford, their best cornerback in this game, is banged up. In a nutshell, the healthiest Bills defenders on the team are basically Tre'Davious White and Joey Bosa, who have been 2 of the most injured players in the entire league the last 5 years. Those are their healthiest players. So I guess my question is, DK, does this mean anything to you about Buffalo as a team, or are they just hurt?
No, I think it's more the latter. You know what the real thing that comes to my mind is when you talk about all this is like, holy crap, how were the Lions so good last year, all year, despite losing all their guys? Because pretty much every other team you see, if they're this injured, this many guys, either banged up or on the IR or whatever, like most of the time, almost all of the time, you see teams completely crater. You know what I mean?
It's the story of every season. It's like usually the healthiest teams go far. Even in fantasy football, it's like if all the guys you drafted never got hurt and never missed a game, you're probably making the playoffs in your fantasy.
Yeah,
it's just how it goes.
100%. It's honestly, fantasy is also kind of like that, what we say about the NFL. In the NFL, we always say there's like 8 teams truly trying to make it. And generally that the teams that win, the teams that make it are like the 2 of the healthiest 8. And fantasy is kind of like that too, where there's probably 4 teams that really probably maybe drafted quote unquote right. And then the healthiest one might win, but also obviously there's a fuck ton of luck in fantasy. But overall, I thought I was really impressed with Atlanta. I'll eat crumbs. I know there are a lot of Falcons fans listening to the show because they emailed a lot of thoughts when I was talking about where the Falcons ranked between them and Georgia. They didn't even necessarily disagree, but the Falcons look good and Penix is fun. And overall, they look like a team that has and I will say this again, the Falcons have invested more in their offense than any team in the NFL. It's not close because they have 8 homegrown first-round picks, $40 million backup quarterback we don't talk about even with Kirk Cousins.
I forgot about him.
And they have 4 top 10 picks on the offense, and they have 3 first-round picks in the offensive line. Like, they should be great, and they finally look like a team that has invested the most of any team in the offense, and it looks awesome.
I'm happy for them. I'm happy for Atlanta. I root for them. I don't know why. I think this team, I don't know if it's the collapse in the Super Bowl or what, but I like Raheem Morris. I like the players on Atlanta. I just want them to be successful.
They're all individually, other than Kyle Pitts, cool stories. Right? I don't know.
You see Kyle Pitts last night blocking his ass off.
There were a lot of actually sneaky good blocking, blocking that caught my eye this week on players downfield, guys that I thought. But yeah, so the Bills, I mean, we talk about the Bills all the time. I think the Falcons get their due credit. The other game I want to hit here, Bears Commanders. Obviously this was, one of those games guys pretend doesn't mean anything, but obviously means a ton because the Bears Hail Mary last year that they gave up to Washington, Tyree Stevenson was talking shit, gave up the Hail Mary. They lost 10 straight games. Everything blew up. So the Bears come back. Caleb Williams from Washington thought he'd go to Washington. There's a lot of emotions in this game.
Is like Caleb versus Jayden too.
Yeah, it's number 1 pick versus number 2. So the Bears go up 13 points, reigning ugly game. Washington comes back, takes a 1-point lead. You're like, pucker factor. 4th quarter, it was pretty crazy. Washington blocks a Chicago field goal, so Bears are still down 1. And then Jayden leads a touchdown drive, so Washington's up 8. And then bad vibes, okay? So then Caleb gets a touchdown, but then misses the 2 points, so the Bears are still down 2. And the Bears get the ball back, but they go 3 and out. Looks like Washington can ice the game, and then Jaden Daniels fumbles the handoff, and the ball's wet and everything, it's raining.
Brutal.
But Jaden fumbles the handoff to Bill Merritt here. And then Jake Moody, of all people, who Kyle Shanahan just cut, I think after week 1 for the Niners, and hits a walk-off 38-yarder as time expires. DK, what did you make of Bears-Washington? What was your take? I'll steal Craig's question. Better win for the Bears or worse for Washington? Actually, I hate that. It's obviously the Bears.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's a better win for the Bears. Obviously, this gives them confidence. It gets them, whatever off of whatever that bad juju was from the last year's game where they lost on that Hail Mary. I thought it's not like I thought, Caleb Williams played exceptionally well in this game. He definitely made some nice throws. He made some off throws. The guy who impressed me the most in this game, which I was kind of surprised, was DeAndre Swift. He was running like a madman. There's always like a game here and there where I'm like, DeAndre Swift, he's good. Like, you remember that he was a high 2nd rounder. And then most of the rest of the time, it's not kind of quite that impressive. But, I thought he looked really good. I thought they got him in the right position. He was like outside runs where he had a little space, slasher type running back. They utilized him in the passing game. So I would say DeAndre Swift was like the guy that impressed me. And then also they used Luther Burden a little bit more in this game, which was exciting. We saw a little bit more of Colston Loveland in this game. So I think all in all, to me, this was just a game that, again, was, one foot in front of the other in terms of the Bears starting to turn into a real team. Because last year, obviously, they were a complete implosion disaster in every way. And this year, they look just more in sync. The offense makes sense. I feel like Caleb knows where he's going with the ball a lot more often and a lot more consistently. He's getting rid of the ball quicker. Overall, it just looks like a more professional operation. And so that's like really positive. I didn't think like Caleb didn't play like amazing, but got the job done. They got the W. And I think overall, they just look better.
My takeaway was that I didn't have a lot of takeaways.
Yeah.
To be honest. Like my takeaway was like, this was a messy game.
Yeah.
I think both these teams are kind of like closer to league average. Caleb had some good moments, some not great moments. Troy Aikman does not seem to be the biggest fan of Caleb Williams.
No.
What was he? Because he's like, I was flipping back and forth the audio. Like, was he complaining about like just getting the ball out on time and things like that, or what?
Everything, his accuracy, like just there was
accuracy.
A lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes back even the first week one. You could tell Troy that Bears Vikings game. It was Caleb McCarthy where the Bears lost. Troy doesn't like Caleb. You can tell. And I don't think he likes the play style. I don't think he like. There was this one where he took a shot down to Roma Dunze. I forget when this was in the game, but honestly, if anything, I thought
the first half he overthrew him.
Yeah, it was kind of like underthrew him, and Troy was somehow.
Oh no, he underthrew him. You're right.
Yeah, and it was like double coverage, and Troy's like, you should take. It was like 2nd and 4, or 2nd and 2, and he's like, you could have took the first down. And if anything, I would kind of watch the all 22, the zoom out, and it was like, I actually think he underthrew him and should have had a Roma Dunze touchdown
for sure.
But there's a reason we look at last year, just to pull an example with the Chiefs, where they go like 12-0 in one-score games. And you're like, what if you just flip every one-score game? Or a game I like to play, flip every kick at the end of the game, because the players, it's like pencils down, and it's kind of like whether the kicker makes it or not shouldn't determine how we make sense of the previous 59 minutes and 58 seconds. And I do think if Jake Moody just kind of misses the kick, we're like, same old Bears, demons, blah, blah, blah. The takeaways to me that I do think going forward, I do think emotionally it does matter that the Bears won the game for themselves. I actually do think there was something they had to get over with this. I do think that matters. But to your point, DK, the running game matters like a lot for the Bears. We'll see if they can make it happen against better defenses than Washington, but it's a cliche for a reason. Like, an efficient running game is essential for a young quarterback to grow, and it's really important. And I especially with the way Ben Johnson calls plays and Swift, we always talk about connections through quarterbacks and receivers. I don't know for whatever reason. I think Caleb's had a really good sense of how to get DeAndre Swift the ball, even when things weren't going well for Chicago at times last year. I don't know. Even in the preseason, I feel like Caleb has just had a weird sense of getting Swift the ball in a way that I feel like I never make that connection to running backs with a quarterback. But yeah, I think Swift looks awesome. And I don't want to your point, it's raining. The Commanders threw pick, fumble, missed a kick. There was a kick blocked. It's like, I don't want to do too many takeaways, but I do think Caleb clearly has more and more often you're seeing that there are more things where Caleb's getting the ball out on time and on schedule, and also just looks like a number one pick with the physical talent, even if it's not all the time.
Yeah, every once in a while he does something that like 3 NFL quarterbacks can do.
The throw to Luther Burden downfield was pretty impressive. He was like looking left, and Burden was going to the right across the field, and Caleb kind of just like stepped up to avoid pressure. And then with his feet facing left, he threw the ball on a line like 30, 40 yards downfield and right to Burden. So that was pretty impressive.
Speaking of Burden, I know that's Wednesday and waivers have already cleared for those listening, but I do want to say that if nobody added Luther Burden, there was a lot of other receivers that you could have added this week. So there's a chance that he's still on the waiver wire. I would maybe think about grabbing him if you have the space. DJ Moore was really hurt the whole game. It was super tough. Managed to play the entire game. Was out there till the very end, but was going in and out. Looked like he was in a lot of pain. And then he went to the hospital, spent the night in the hospital. And then the Bears reported that it was a groin injury, which is weird to spend the night in the hospital for a groin injury. People were speculating that he like had a lesion in his ball sack, or like that's like the only way that you could have had you could
Was
spend
that
the night
like-
in the hospital for a groin
Are
injury.
you reporting that? You want to report that here on the show?
I'm saying people were speculating on Twitter that he tore his nutsack.
Well,
That's
what I
what I'm
saw,
saying.
Craig, not to like quibble or whatever, I saw people referencing testicular torsion,
Testicular torsion.
which is where
shit.
the cord twists up in the sack.
Yeah,
Cuts
that
There
out
you
the
go.
blood flow.
Didn't that
Cuts out
happen
blood
to
flow.
Mariners third baseman? Oh, this is one of those things that's like you can't even sit still
So
when
it's
you're
an
hearing
yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
So
So
it
that's
perhaps
why he-
was. a
That's
nut
why he had to
issue.
go to the hospital, because
Yeah.
you like have the chance of losing.
You
your
could
ball.
die. I actually. Oh, I'm gonna shout out my
You could
friend.
die from
So,
that. Ew,
okay.
God, that's
I'm gonna tell a
terrifying.
story. I'm not gonna name this guy, but he won't care.
Okay.
He's also in the military, so there's like no chance he's gonna be able to hear the show. But I had a friend who will not be named that basically woke up one morning, and I forget what activity he was doing, but he's like, he's in the Marines, so there's a lot of physical activity going on. And he wakes up one morning, and his scrotum is massive. It's like a grapefruit, and he's like, oh, he's going to a wedding or something, and he's like, I need to go to the ER. And he sits there, and he's trying to explain to them that this is a problem, and they're like, yeah. And I forget the exact story, but he's there for like hours. And they're basically like, if you don't get emergency surgery, you can just you might just lose it. We might just have to cut it off so you don't die. And he was like, are you serious? And they're like, yeah, if it doesn't fix itself in like 2-3 hours, we might have to have a conversation about,
Cutting him off.
Yes. And then it did at the 11th hour just come undone. It just untied.
Sprung.
It's like how they
Sprung back.
neuter. It's like how they neuter cows. Remember, I told you they use
God.
Yeah.
like a rubber band situation.
Craig.
I actually had I had a small version of this as a kid. What happened? Testicular torsion. This happened to
Probably
me.
didn't feel great.
It was like pretty mellow, but yeah, it was just like painful, and then it kind of just went away. But it was a very mild version. Like there was you couldn't tell physically, but I could just. I was in pain as a kid. Like riding a bike, I remember it like really hurt, and then I went to the doctor.
We have to move on. I'm like gonna.
So anyway, Luther Burden, because DJ Moore's nuts hurt.
This is. We should put in parentheses DJ Moore parentheses balls.
Nuts.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Testes.
But dude,
Twitter.
if he played an NFL game with testicular torsion, stud.
I'm back in on
You should
DJ
get
Moore.
multipliers. You should get a multiplying effect. Every catch is worth 5 if you have
I agree.
testicular torsion.
Yeah.
Okay, so wow, I missed that one. I knew he was hurt. Honestly, I actually think guys get hit in the balls and leave way more injuries are actually just getting after going to the hurling match and see how many guys were keeling over just because they got hit in the balls. I think way more injuries are just getting hit in the balls.
And those poor guys, no padding.
No, that was tough.
Brutal.
Okay. Anything else from Monday Night Football before we move on here?
No, tough look for Ringer 107 for us. We took that Bills L.
Yeah, DK, what was with pushing the Bills?
I know,
on
DK.
that?
We would have been tied for first
Stop
place had we
trying
not
to
taken
change
that.
history. It was Heifetz. Heifetz felt
It was-
very strongly.
I think
that
what
the
I'm taking
Falcons-
I can't remember. I feel like it was DK at first, and then Heifetz.
my God.
I'm
joined
taking
in.
advantage of the fact that even the people who listen to the show a lot and love this show, I feel like half the time no one knows whose voice is on a podcast is who. You know,
to put it very bluntly, Heifetz was way overconfident, which probably should have made us bet the opposite direction.
It was a
That's
Costanza
right.
in
It's actually
retrospect.
probably
Heifetz
our
said
fault.
it, and Heifetz is the guy that lives in Bellingham with a kid, right?
Exactly.
Heifetz.
That's him. Okay.
I don't like this. I don't like it at all.
The Ringer Fantasy Football Show is brought to you by FanDuel. The FanDuel Sportsbook app is your home for all your favorite NFL bets, from yards to touchdowns to who will win. With FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. And when the Steelers and Bengals play Thursday night, FanDuel's giving all customers a 50% PBT. All right, DK, since I'm getting everything wrong, you tell me. What should people bet on? Steelers, Bengals?
Steelers.
Yeah, I would.
That's all I got.
Yeah, no, I would also take the Steelers.
The spread is 5.5, which was the same spread that they just had against the Browns. This game's in Cincinnati. Flacco. And look, the Steelers are playing really well. It's probably hard to bet against them right now. They look good.
It's funny how the argument against the Steelers is, literally against the Bengals team that can't really move the ball. Joe Flacco's been there 10 days. The argument is, well, the Steelers play down to their opponents.
They do.
And that's
Except
all we
for
have
the
to
Browns.
say.
But yeah, Steelers also usually get torched by number 1 wide receivers, but it's different. They have Jalen Ramsey this year. I would say, yeah, you'd feel dumber probably if you bet the Bengals and the Steelers kill them.
If the Steelers just cover. Yeah, that's the thing. If you bet the Steelers and they lose, you're mad at the Steelers. If you bet the Bengals and the Bengals don't cover, you're mad at yourself.
Right.
So I would bet the Steelers. Great job, DK. That's FanDuel.com/RingerFantasy to bet the Steelers versus the Bengals with a 50% PBT. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 plus and present in select states, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost. Tokens restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. All right, we're going to do Power Hour here. We're going to power rank all the bad vibe situations. For those who don't know.
Worst vibes.
This is the worst vibes. There's some bad vibes, man.
Yeah.
Some bad vibes out there.
It's actually kind of hard to rank.
Also, there are some teams on this list who have a winning record and made the top 10 worst vibes.
Yeah, but I think we're right. So you guys sent me your bad vibes, ranked the top 10 or bottom 10 vibes, I guess, and then I just kind of averaged them. So this is the average of our rankings. If you don't like the order, then you can blame all of us equally. And also, we're going to do this Power Hour style. So every 2 minutes, you're going to hear this sound.
Are they going to let us use that on Netflix? We'll see.
I was going to ask you. I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't know. All right. So without further ado, power ranking the worst vibes in all the National Football League this season after 6 weeks.
The National Football League.
I know I dropped that.
I love that sometimes. It hits so hard. I love it.
When was the last time I said National Football League?
The Cincinnati Bengals are the worst team in the National Football League.
It's like when Craig said, Craig called DK Daniel the other day, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to start
that is weird.
Sharp
Got
on
my
a serious
attention.
note. Yeah.
That'll also be a Netflix thing. We'll have to start saying National Football League, Yeah. So it makes sound like we know what we're talking about. Okay. Number one, worst vibes in the entire NFL.
This may come as no surprise to you all.
We all put this as number one, I think.
I had him second. You guys had this team
not
one.
unanimous. Okay. Well, I feel pretty strongly the New York Jets have the most horrific vibes in all of the land. The only winless team, for starters. They're coming off a game where they had negative 10 yards passing, which is something you almost never hear about. They lost to a guy who had 60 yards passing. They have the NFL worst -7 turnover margin. They're 30th in offensive DVOA, which probably shouldn't be a surprise, but they're also 25th in defensive DVOA. So they're bad on defense, which is supposed to be sort of like their foundation, the reason that they can the thing that will prop them up and they can figure things out on offense. They're bad everywhere. In addition to that, I had a question more for you guys. Like, who's the leader of this team?
Like as a player
or coach? I mean, I guess obviously Aaron Glenn is the leader of the team, but outside of him, I can't figure out who people are supposed to look to for inspiration and getting out of this slump that they're in. Like Justin Fields is not that guy. Garrett Wilson, not that guy.
Probably Alan Lazard.
Right. I actually think Garrett Wilson is, in a way, the receiver in the whole league who's most angry aligns with whether the team is winning or losing. Not necessarily when he gets the ball, but whether he doesn't get the ball because something stupid they did. It's always Garrett Wilson cares about winning. And the coaching. My only reason I didn't put them first is I was like, I guess because Aaron Glenn's the first year head coach, he's not getting fired.
I get that,
and so I'm like, oh, but
also they're used to it.
Yeah, and they're used to it. That too. But no, look, I'm not going to argue the point. It is hard. Aaron Glenn's a great guy and everyone likes him. The coaching decisions have been borderline, like not unforgivable, but they've been crazy bad. And just the plan that seemed like a bad plan has been a horrible plan. Justin Fields, as your only starter of that competition, has been horrible.
Yeah.
And we could go on and on, but yeah.
The only reason why you could argue they're not number one is because this is so new and you could perhaps convince yourself to give Garrett Glenn a little bit of time.
The problem is there's no hope because not no hope, but the rushing, I think what they were hoping to establish was a physical running game identity with the offensive line. And I don't see that.
It's so crazy how they should have probably beaten the Steelers in week one. They looked so good.
They looked incredible.
But again, since that game, I was some of those stats on Friday. Since that week one game, if you just lop that off, because week one shit happens all the time. Since week one, The Jets are last in every offensive category. I'm talking below the Titans. But no, the team I put number 1, you guys, I think both had them 2 or 3rd, I think, but they've netted out to number 2. Worst vibes. I have the worst vibes of the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
I have them at 1-5, 3rd place in the AFC East, which is so funny because the Jets are actually in last. But to me, it's really simple. The vibes, Aaron Glenn just got hired. Mike McDaniel is on his last legs, and the quarterback is calling out players in public. Or him, like everyone's mad. People are mad at the starting quarterback. People are mad at the coach. The Dolphins are a better team. They're closer to winning. They beat the Jets, which doesn't say anything. But the vibes I do think are worse because the expectations for the Dolphins were just better. And it's been horrific. And I think Tua's comments just completely split the locker room. And they are the team. They're to me the closest to the breaking point of something's going to have to change.
Yeah. There has been no more bad press around the league than with the Dolphins since the offseason. Like it's been, I mean, since Tyreek said he didn't want to be here anymore at the end of last season, it's been just kind of consistently horrible vibes all the way through the season.
The fact that Tyreek was like cheering and fist pumping and everything when he got hurt makes a little bit more sense. He's just like, thank
you. You think
God
he was happy?
I don't have to,
He's thrilled.
Play anymore.
I don't have to be on this team anymore. It's finally over.
I understand. Carlos, who produces the show, is probably mad because he would probably be like, well, they only lost by 2 to the Chargers and they should have won. And they only lost by 3 to the Panthers. Like, they're
mad. I think he'll be mad we didn't put them first.
That's a good point.
100%.
The thing,
we're letting them off too easy.
There's a lot of scheme stuff we could go into. Obviously, people don't need us to tell that Mike McDaniel's offense has been stale for 3 years. They don't need us to tell them that the Dolphins are probably the worst defense in the NFL and the worst. The coverage is horrible. The run defense is horrific. But there's also just a leadership problem. And in a nutshell, they lost this offseason. And we talked about this a little, but I think the most underrated thing in football is captains. Like, that's a stat. People vote on it. The Dolphins lost this season, offseason. Jalen Ramsey at cornerback, Javon Holland at safety, Calais Campbell at D-line, Christian Wilkins at defensive tackle. All of those guys were captains. And I'm gonna disrespect Tom. They lost 4 captains. And so, you know who the only captain left was? Tua. And so Tua's out here talking about leadership, whether he's trying to throw himself under the bus or whether he was trying to point out people about being late. Mike McDaniel had to come out today or yesterday and admonish Tua for what he said at the podium. Like, Mike McDaniel is like, the leadership burden fell on Tua and Tua's failed. And I know I'm kind of ranting here, but I want to point out Mike McDaniel said, I think regardless of intent and what was on Tua's mind, after a loss, as the franchise quarterback, that's not the forum to displace that. I think Tua knows that now. I honestly believe there was no ill intention, but you're talking about a misguided representation of player-orchestrated film sessions. Heavy is the crown. This is still Mike McDaniel. Heavy is the crown of being a franchise quarterback. What I do know is that Tua is directly communicated with a lot of guys, starting with last night. That's what teammates do. You live and you learn. You live and learn. End quote. It's Tua's 6th season in the NFL.
He's also not good.
Craig, that's the problem. This is the big problem. It's hard to be a leader when you're not very good.
It's hard to call people out when you're playing like shit.
You can't, like, actually, I think Tua's a little bit oblivious. That's the problem.
Yes.
Like, he should be aware that this is not going to look good.
It's just all a bad mix. And also, Mike McDaniel's not the best style of coach. He's not the best personality for a team that's losing. It just like, it doesn't translate well, his press conference style when they're getting destroyed. It just rubs people the wrong way.
The big picture argument for being a disciplinarian-based coach is that if you start with a tight leash, it's much easier to let it go than to start with Mike McDaniel vibes, like the vibe of the guy whose dad's owned the company and the dad's on vacation. Like, once you're there, you can't actually rein people in. That's actually pretty difficult.
You know the line in Top Gun, which I've never heard anyone actually say this in real life, only referencing Top Gun, but Tua's mouth is writing checks his body can't cash. He just needs to stop saying stuff. I was like, even in the offseason when he was talking about, remember how he was like, Tyreek, he's got to come back and, apologize. Or what was it exactly he said? He's like
prove himself to us.
Right. Like prove himself to his teammates and stuff. And I'm just like, dude, just say that to him. You don't have to tell the press that. Like, have some like awareness.
Well, you know what's funny too? And I was thinking about this because Tua was saying, before this game, Tua said, I'm not on social media. I don't worry about that stuff. And I'm like, you know what?
Maybe you should get on social media.
Maybe you need to be. Clearly, you're the quarterback.
He's too offline.
You know who's on social media?
It's like a homeschooled kid.
It is. You know who's on TV? On social media? All your teammates are seeing social media constantly.
He's like a homeschooled kid.
You need to learn like social
Stop touching grass. Touch a screen.
Oh my God. Get online to
Plug
Get
in a
online,
little bit
man.
here. Yeah.
It's probably doctor's orders, unfortunately, to not look at the screens. But unfortunately, that's probably a low blow. That's probably true, though.
It was.
Blue light.
Well, yeah, we can move on. But I think they're the worst vibes, in part because,
Terrible vibes.
yeah, it's people hate the quarterback and the coach is getting fired. All right, number 3 for bad vibes here. This is no shock, but we have DK. I think you had them highest, but I think we all kind of thought they were third. But the Tennessee Titans.
Our expectations were low, but holy fuck.
Yeah.
The Titans. That's the story of the Titans season. Coming off of a 3-win season, the first overall pick, they are somehow even worse this year than they were last year. They took a quarterback with the top pick of the draft. They revamped their offensive line. They have one of the best. They hired a good offensive line coach. They are dead last.
Well, it's his father, but yeah.
They brought his dad in. I think it's interesting because, obviously Bill Callahan left because his son Brian Callahan was fired. So now they're out 2 of their coaches. And I would say generally tape analysts are having some positive thoughts on what Cam Ward has done. But if you look at what Cam Ward's numbers are, it's very concerning what he's doing right now. He has 3 touchdown passes on the year, tied for dead last with Russell Wilson and Dylan Gabriel. His completion rate's dead last. He has a 67 passer rating, which is almost dead last. Only Joe Flacco is worse. And Joe Flacco, well, he's like 40. EPA per drop back, only Flacco and Browning are worse. 36% success rate, only Flacco and Dylan Gabriel are worse. He has one of the highest off-target rates. He has one of the lowest explosive pass rates. I mean, there's not a lot to be excited about. I guess, obviously, there's moments on tape where he looks good, but I think it's because he's in Tennessee, which is just flying under the radar, but he's been horrific as the first overall pick.
He slid under the radar when he was the number 1 pick, and he's not doing well. But overall, I still think it can't be said enough. The Titans fired Brian Callahan because they were afraid of their former coach, Mike Vrabel, beating the piss out of Brian Callahan in the Titans. They were literally so afraid of having to fire him after the game that they preemptively fired him because they're afraid of Mike Vrabel beating him.
The only reason why the Titans aren't first on this list is because there is still a glimmer of hope that 4 years from now, Cam Ward is a good, productive quarterback in the NFL. Like that's still possible, and there are moments that you get excited about. Unlike Miami, it's kind of thing I think people know what Tua is, and the Jets and Justin Fields, it's like obviously such a stopgap. So that's the only reason why I think they don't deserve to be number 1 is because maybe Cam Ward will work out.
Totally agree. Number 4 here on the list of teams with the absolute worst vibes this season. We have the Cleveland Browns.
Just kind of a formality, I feel like. Just kind of always throw them in.
Just, always top 5. If anything, you could argue it's kind of, we probably should just give them out of respect. They're the number 1 spot. It's like Mahomes and the Chiefs. It's like they've accomplished so much that
they have the belt. Yeah,
they have
needs
the
to
belt.
take the belt.
It's like, did anyone really come and take the belt from the Browns? It's the Browns are 1-5. They're tied for last place. I mean, Dylan Gabriel's out here looking fine because he isn't actively embarrassing the Browns on like every play, and that's like the bar basically and what it's been. But I decided the Browns couldn't be. They had to be 4th, and maybe they should be higher. But I kind of just think their fans are dead inside, and I feel like high almost is insulting in that it implies they had expectations, which is not fair.
I mean, they just traded a quarterback to a division rival.
So I have to read what Mike Tomlin said this week. Mike Tomlin, it's funny hearing him talk about it. You watch the video and you realize how infrequently you hear coaches talk about other teams' trades.
I know.
Like, only when I saw Tomlin saying this, I'm like, you never see this. And Tomlin was asked about the Joe Flacco trade, and he actually talked about it. And Tomlin he said, to be honest, it was shocking to me. The Browns general manager, Andrew Berry, must be a lot smarter than me or us, because it doesn't make sense to me to trade a quarterback that you think enough of to make your opening day starter. Trade him to a division opponent that's hurting in that quarterback area. But that's just my personal feelings. And when I watched
saying someone must be a lot smarter than me
is such a great dig.
It's
so good.
It's like so mean.
So good.
He must be a lot smarter than me because this doesn't make any fucking sense to me at all.
Tomlin's the best.
DK's going to do that next time. I'm like, take the Bills -4.5. DK's like, Heifetz must be a lot smarter than me. So my thing though with this is,
with all due respect,
yeah.
But I think again, Tomlin, Patrick Claybon at NFL pointed out Tomlin's radical opinion was teams should try to win their division, not help other teams win their division.
Right.
And I was thinking about that, and with Tomlin's words, I was like, can you imagine how players on the Browns feel? And I actually don't think I put enough thought into that when the trade went down. Can you imagine being fucking Myles Garrett?
Do you remember when Myles Garrett was asking for a trade and then was like, we went and talked to the front office, the leadership of the team, and they convinced us in the plan that we had at quarterback. And the plan was Joe Flacco for a few games, and then we're trading him to our division opponent. Like
he was just blinded by the $40 million a year. He didn't even listen.
And then
to what
that division opponent immediately had like a way better game.
Yeah,
I actually don't think I had thought what it did to the vibes of the reason I put them maybe higher. They should be higher. Is imagine being on the Browns and trying to play through an injury or something and trying to be like, hey, like we can get back in this, and they fucking gave the Bengals Joe Flacco.
Yeah, man.
For not that much. What was it, like a 5th rounder or 6th rounder?
Basically
they moved
a pick
up
swap.
40 spots. They swapped. It's going to be like the 220th pick for the 190th pick.
I mean, like, also
is that worth it? No.
No.
Well, I think part of it, because the Browns, the people who do that, Andrew Berry, and especially the Moneyball guy, Jonah Hill and Moneyball works for the Browns. Like they're literally the Moneyball people.
And they're
crushing.
crushing.
Make him do the meme. Do they make him do the meme every day? Like,
yeah.
The only problem is he can't do
just
whatever.
Deshaun Watson. Yeah, look, he's on all these stats. He's like, there's one problem, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I really do think the Browns, if you could, maybe they are really excited about this pick swap. I think the Browns what they were thinking in the front office was, we're not going to get a very good draft pick this year. And it's better for us if the Bengals get a bad one. And I do think that was the logic in Cleveland, and they just don't care about interdivisional trades. They think
like a Trojan
stupid.
horse.
Yeah. And I think that logic, while you could argue for it, could not square less with how players feel on old school people like Tomlin, or the oldest two school teams in the league are the Steelers and the Bengals, who are like, we'll never give up on anything. We'd rather die than like think about stuff like that. But yeah, I think the Browns vibes are pretty bad.
It's low when it's
Just
like, let's
formality.
give our division rival a quarterback so that maybe they have the 9th pick in the first round instead of the 4th.
I actually think that's what they were actually thinking.
Crazy.
It is. Anyway, number 5, bad vibes. This was the first true controversial one. Craig, you were the highest on this team. So number 5, bad vibes for the season.
The Arizona Cardinals. I think the worst place to be is when you give a quarterback a big contract and you can't win a Super Bowl with them. And I think the Dolphins, the Cardinals, for a while, I did think the Jags were flirting with that. Maybe that's changed this year. But I think that's the worst place. I think in terms of expectation versus reality, the Cardinals have been one of the most disappointing teams in the NFL since they drafted Kyler Murray. They have 0 playoff wins with Kyler Murray. They've only played in 1.
Just second half collapses.
The Marvin Harrison Jr. thing has not lived up to expectations. The Cardinals have the 27th most wins since Kyler was drafted. And I just think you're just stuck in the middle. I think it's just complete no man's land. And you're in a division with Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, and Mike McDonald. And I just think, I don't know where you go.
I like this. This is a very convincing argument. Also, to add to that, Jacoby Brissett came in and played pretty well. Which is just like it's like almost like the coaches in jail are probably like, fuck.
It's just like, how many off seasons do Cardinals fans need to get excited before getting bludgeoned to death every season and completely disappointed before they have to start up again and convince themselves that this is the Kyler Murray year? It never happened.
It's a tough combination of what you're saying of the very in the moment thing of the Titans loss and how bad it was with the DeMarco, like how basically probably the most unlikely loss we've ever seen. Like in just the actual literal plays that happen with DeMarcado play and all that. And that very specific random thing that you can kind of get over. But what you're pointing to mixed with this like larger thing of, holy shit, is our offense better with Jacoby? And the players know that Kyler can't always play on time. And like Kyler, in a way, it is like Russell. I mean, it's not crazy to compare him to Russell Wilson. Kyler Murray also could have played baseball and is a shorter quarterback. And as Kyler gets older, with the less the mobility is, suddenly the not being able to play on time and in rhythm because his shorter quarterback is worse.
By the way, Kyler was the 9th overall pick in the draft. Like Russell Wilson was like a Make-A-Wish kid who got to go to like Yankees training camp and like pal around with people. Like Kyler was a legit prospect.
Kyler was actually going to be the center fielder for the Athletics. Like
this
that
is
was
Kyler
literally
Murray's 7th season in the NFL. 7th.
He's you know what? I know I've edited this 3 weeks in a row. maybe I'll go with this. Kyler is going to be the most talented player I've ever seen that will make almost no mark on the league. Like, frankly, Kyler's career there's been 3 or 4 amazing games. Like the Hail Murray to DeAndre, and but overall, he's kind of just came and went.
Hail Murray, yeah.
But I don't know. That was 5 years ago, though. It's just been a weird time. Number 6 on the list of the most atrocious vibes in the NFL through 6 weeks. I have the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Ravens should probably be higher than the Cardinals. This is the worst season in Ravens history, probably. Like, it's shit.
I think this is a short-term ranking here. I feel like if you're a Ravens fan, obviously it's gone horrible, but it's basically just Derrick Henry and Lamar got hurt, which then ruined the offense for a few weeks. But it's like, couldn't you convince yourself that things might be okay and this is a division you can win?
You could go either way, because you could argue that literally the Ravens, on one hand, the Ravens have won 35 games the last 3 years. They were the Super Bowl favorites in the preseason, and they have one more win than the Jets. Mm-hmm. Like, they have the same record as the Titans, who just fired their head coach. Like, that sucks. So on one hand, the Ravens should be higher. To your point, the optimism is very easy. 6-0 in the Ravens' next 6 games isn't insane, because they hit the bye. It's like 1-5 in the bye. Like, it's horrific, but they have the Bears when they come back. That is a do or die game. They have to beat the Bears. But if they can do that, then it's like at Miami, who again, vibes are atrocious. At the Vikings, where it's Carson Wentz or JJ McCarthy. At Cleveland with Dylan Gabriel. At the Jets with Justin Fields. Like, these are some of the worst quarterback situations in the whole league coming up. Then you still have 2 games left versus the Bengals, both probably with Joe Flacco for the Bengals. And you still have 2 games left with the Steelers, where the Ravens beat the Steelers by a lot last year. And if the Steelers are winning the division, obviously they're at 4 wins, the Ravens are at 1. But if the Ravens are able to sweep the Steelers, that gets you 2-0 on the Steelers up. And all the other games are against horrific quarterbacks. So if the Ravens are able to get, again, of the top 9 guys in snaps for them in defense in week 1, 8 of the 9 guys have been hurt. And if you get 6 of the 9 back, it's not crazy, to your point, Craig, that maybe the Ravens still can win the division. So that's the hope, is they could go 6-0.
It's funny. I feel like this season could end with some of the best vibes. Like, if the Ravens are hot, they sneak into the playoffs. They've been playing great for the final 10 weeks of the season. I think it comes down to what you said, Heifetz. I think if the Ravens can sweep the Steelers, they're in. And that's what it'll come down to.
Well, it's not that simple, but yes, it's.
But I think based on like how we expect them to be playing against like the Jets and the Dolphins and the Browns, like I think it's going to end up working out with the Steelers schedule getting harder, where if the Ravens can beat the Steelers twice, I think they are going to be in the playoffs, is my guess.
You couldn't do better for a quarterback. You can't ask for an easier quarterback schedule than Caleb Williams, Carson Wentz or JJ McCarthy, Dylan Gabriel, Justin Fields, Joe Flacco twice. You won't do. Caleb Williams is by far the best quarterback they're facing.
I think the only counterpoint I have to this whole thing, I mean, I don't know if it's a counterpoint, but just in terms of the Ravens having horrific vibes, and maybe this is actually them unraveling versus succumbing to a lot of injuries, or maybe both, is the accumulation over the years of just playoff collapses when they were like the favorites. And obviously the last time this team
have more like champagne problems.
Yeah, but also happiness is expectation minus reality. It wouldn't be hard to convince me the Ravens vibes are worse than the Browns, because the Browns are dead inside and Ravens fans genuinely thought they'd win the Super Bowl. Speaking of which, the San Francisco 49ers are number 7 on this list of atrocious vibes. Speaking of teams with his playoff collapses and big expectations and injuries, Niners, I mean, they're 4-2. They're tied for first place in the NFC West.
Right.
So on one hand, how could you put them in bad vibes? And yet, this is the GTA meme. It's the shit, here we go again. Like 2019, they made the Super Bowl, and then 2020 was the nightmare year, and then they made the Super Bowl, and it was nightmare year again in 2024, and it's like, it's just happening again.
Here's how we know that the 49ers vibes are tough, is people on Twitter are talking about how they built a stadium on Native American burial grounds.
Cursed. No, literally. Like all my friends are Niners fans. My dad is a diehard Niners fan, and he's just like, we're cursed.
Yeah,
this team's cursed.
Truly.
Yeah. Everyone's hurt. Every week they just lost Fred Warner, the most horrific foot injury you'll see.
I have all the injuries written down here, and it takes up like a whole page. Brock Purdy has the turf toe and the shoulder injury. Mac Jones, the backup quarterback's limping around with a PCL injury. Brandon Ayuk's on injured reserve. George Kittle's in injured reserve, maybe coming back soon. Ricky Parasol at receivers out. Juwan Jennings, the receiver, is playing through 2 different ankle sprains, 5 broken ribs. And yet somehow...
he's the knight. What are we going to do? Bleed on me? He's just like, how is he even out there?
You know the guy in Game of Thrones that keeps getting killed and they bring him back to life? You know what I mean?
Oh,
Barrett
yeah,
Dondarrion.
yeah.
It's kind of like Juwan Jennings. It's just unbelievable. And somehow the worst injuries are probably on defense because Nick Bosa is a top 6 pass rusher in the whole league, and he's out for the season. And Fred Warner is just straight up the best middle linebacker in the NFL. He's out for the season. That's his ankle injury, as Craig just said. Those are 2 keystone players on a defense where, by the way, everyone else left in free agency because those 2 guys were the ones they had to keep. So everything was built around them, and they're done the whole year. So it is hard. Like, again, they're 4-2. They're tied for first. And yet...
they're technically in first because they've beaten Seattle and the Rams.
And yet, this is how the season has begun. So this is...
I feel bad for Niners fans. I really do.
I don't.
I always forget the extent to which DK hates the Niners.
It's at this point it's mostly performative, but yes, like I grew up in this industry covering the Seahawks and for a fan blog, and there was a lot of rivalry there. So yeah.
Number 8, worst vibes entering the NFL season, the Las Vegas Raiders. 2-4, but they're coming off a win. That was the problem. They're last place in the division, but they did win. They're the only team in this entire list that won last week.
Maybe it's just like I'm projecting my expectations on them in terms of like what I was expecting from them and what they've actually done this
As
year.
someone who covered a fan blog for the Seahawks during the Pete Carroll era.
Like I thought Pete Carroll would whip this team into shape a little bit more. Because we talked about it all offseason, like there's finally adults in the room. For the Raiders has just been a mess. From the coaching staff to the ownership to the GM, blah, blah, blah. Like it's just been one terrible thing after another for them. And then getting Brady and Carroll, and then they hired Chip Kelly. I'm like, oh man, I can really see this working. Then they trade for Geno Smith. I'm like, oh, he's a professional quarterback. This is going to look so much different, so much better. It's just same old fucking Raiders this year. They're a total mess. The fans are turning on Pete Carroll's son, Brennan Carroll, because their offensive line has been totally all over the place. Carroll looks kind of, and yeah, they did win, but like Carroll has kind of looked a little old and demoralized. I know he is like the most energetic 72 or 3 or whatever that you've ever seen. But I don't know, the times I've seen him, because I haven't been like, watching standalone games for Raiders much this year, but like when I see him on the screen, he always just looks like a little sad. Geno is absolutely melting down. And he has 10 turnovers this year, which is most in the NFL. Their offense has been really, really hit or miss. They've got injuries. Brock Bowers is out. Genty is kind of, he definitely has looked better lately, but he's kind of been a slow starter for them. They're 29th on offense, 29th on special teams. I will say the Raiders, I saw this, they're 10th in DVOA on defense, which I would never have guessed. So there's maybe one little like positive thing there, but overall, I don't know, maybe we should ask Austin, but it just feels like the same old Raiders.
I think in terms of the vibe expectations, the vibe that we were kind of seeing in the offseason, we talked about it a bunch. We're like, wow, the Raiders feel different. It's been extremely disappointing, especially after that week 1 win in New England, where everyone's like, wow, okay, the Raiders, like Geno's kind of ripping it. Brock Bowers immediately got hurt. This team is tanked and everything looks terrible. So I agree with you. I didn't really think about the Raiders that way, but I agree with you.
But they beat the Titans. I mean, that's it's not necessarily like a season changing.
That'll fix it.
Yeah. They get the Chiefs next. That'll be easy. If they can beat the Chiefs, then I'll change my mind.
Yeah. Number 9, teams with the worst vibes in the NFL season. This was the hardest team to rank, I think, in the whole list.
I think I had them the highest. The Eagles. And people might get mad at me about this.
Sorry, the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes.
9th on the list of teams with worst vibes.
Who are 4-2, first place in their division. I'm obviously grading this on a scale, but I think Eagles fans are distraught. And I think the vibes are really genuinely bad. I think outside of years where teams that won the Super Bowl get injured and they have the year from hell the next year, I think the Eagles have some of the worst vibes of any post-Super Bowl team in recent memory. I really do. Like, even though they're 4-2, whatever, back-to-back losses, they lost to the Giants. They basically haven't lost to the Giants in like since 2021, really. They won in like 23, but that was a game that Hurts didn't really play in. So it's really been basically 4 years since they lost to the Giants. And just statistically, it's a mess. Like, none of it's working. They can't run the ball. They're 30th in yards per game this year. Offensive EPA, they're 21st. They're 25th in rushing. Like, The obvious, I mean, the AJ Brown, the passing game is the tush push. After they did 4, I think the worst thing the Eagles did was run 4 tush pushes in a row.
I know. I was thinking that too, Craig. I was like, as a coaching staff, you shouldn't do that because now now everyone's going to turn on you.
It single-handedly converted like 90% of pro tush push people to anti-tush push.
Doing that decision to run 4 in a row got the tush push
Everyone's
canceled.
like, you know what?
We're
Fuck
done.
this. I'm
It
done.
was a perfect storm because it was 3rd and 1 at the 3. So then they ran it and didn't get it. Had to do 4th and 1 to 3. And then you're at the 2 and they just ran, you know what I mean? So they just kept getting 1 yard.
Like
4
Micah
times.
Parsons is tweeting not a football play.
Yes.
It's funny because you can't call plays for like optics, but like, yeah, that probably will get it canceled.
Look,
but
No,
no,
I'm just saying, like, people are already, like, the tush push is already basically hanging on by a thread.
What is
right?
this
like,
offense when they can't do it anymore? And
Let me tell you this. The Eagles
don't do it 4 in a row.
The Eagles have been outgained in all 6 games this year.
And it's just funny because, again, after the first 2 plays of the game, Saquon had 9 meaningful rushing yards. They can't really run with Saquon Barkley, who's like one of the best running backs ever. And they can't really get AJ Brown their ball as a receiver. So it's like, it's just
What's their identity?
Just hard to explain. It's just a strange team.
I mean, I do think, ironically, even though they're 4-2 coming off a Super Bowl, this is like maybe the lowest the vibes have been in like 4 years.
The 2023, it was horrific. 2023 by far, because that was when Matt Patricia was running the defense down the stretch and they lost to the Bucs and they were like, yeah, how could we have known they would blitz us? Like they had no blitz pickups. Like it was crazy. That was the worst. But
yeah, they lost a lot of games heading into it, but because they were like 10-1 to start that season, and then collapsed down. I don't know. The Patullo stuff is terrible. It's bad.
I think the Eagles with the vibe where they are specific. I think I interact with more Eagles fans than you guys. They are not ready to take outside criticism at all. They still defend Hurts to the death. They're like, we're the defending champions.
Ready.
Shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Internally, I know that within the family, they're having conversations.
Like their internal group chats are like, Jalen Hurts fucking blows.
It's like from The Godfather where he's like, don't ever take sides with someone outside the family ever again.
It's exactly like that. But it's like the city. They can only talk about it in the geolocated conversations. Number 10 on the list of bad vibes. I also didn't know where to put this team, but number 10 on the list of bad vibes this season, the New Orleans Saints.
I had this one was kind of tough for me because on one hand, I think there are some reasons to be positive, but at the end of the day, they're 1-5 and not good. And I think what I ended up coming to on this was basically they feel like the team that is hungover. They went out, they maxed out their credit cards, they fucking lived large. They went to Ibiza and went to like a rave, and I said it purposely like that, just be aware. And they kind of like they did their thing, they sowed their royal oats, and then they came back and they're like, fuck, now we don't have any money. We have one of the worst caps. This is a 1-5 team, last place in the NFC South, and they have to shed $21 million to get under the cap next year. And so I think you got like Alvin Kamara, he's just like, I don't want to leave, like I don't want to move. I'm just going to like play this year out, even though like I could go to some contender and possibly win a Super Bowl. I'm just going to like, I feel like that in itself is just, I obviously we should probably be lauding him for being so loyal to his team. But at the same time, for me, it's kind of like an ick. I'm like, so you're just going to like play on some shitty team for the rest of your career and then just retire? Like that just seems weird. I don't know. So the vibes are just weird for the Saints. I think Rattler's been like better than we expected, but that's about the only thing.
I think Rattler is the reason where it's like, what were the expectations for this team coming in? And then Rattler's played fine. I think the thing is, to your point, I'm trying to think of a place where maybe you would not want the night to end and take out a bunch of money late at night and wake up hungover. Right. I don't know, Craig, can you think of a city or a place where you'd want to just don't want the night to end and kind of regret it the next day?
No, none that we've been to. No, I can't think of anything.
Can't think of any. I don't know. Anyway, number 11. Did Tom even play? I don't even know.
I don't think he did. I think it was the first time we came in under the gun.
Wow. Yeah, we have nothing to say about the Saints. They're a bad team. Oh, there you go.
There he is.
I think in terms of expectation versus reality, it's like pretty aligned, which I think is why they're a little bit lower on this
exactly.
list.
And Rattler's, it's like they knew they'd be bad. It was kind of interested to see Rattler. Shuck has done nothing, but Shuck isn't even really a third quarterback. I think Taysom might play before Shuck, but. Number 11, a team also I didn't know what to do with because they're playing Thursday, but the Cincinnati Bengals, we had 11th, which is cheating.
This is probably like the last team before you jump into a new tier. Honestly, I think this is more this year. I guess you could convince yourself if they beat the Steelers, they have 3 wins and they're close, but it's like, you're obviously not like doing anything this year. I guess Burrow could come back at the very end of the season, but I think it's more just like in general, Cincinnati fans have been punished every other year, basically since Burrow's been in the league. And it's probably extremely difficult to deal with that.
I thought the Bengals were hard to rank because of what you said. If the Bengals beat the Steelers on Thursday Night Football, then they have 3 wins and the Steelers have 4, and they have a head-to-head. The Steelers had a bye. It's the Bengals lost more games, but I'm like, if they beat the Steelers, I felt weird about having a team with atrocious vibes where like, hey, the Flacco thing worked, Chase, Higgins, like they can pull this off maybe. If the Bengals lose on Thursday Night Football, they should be like 4th or 5th on this list. Like they'll have been winless without Burrow, and at this point, Burrow might not even come back. And so that Thursday Night Football, I don't want to be like the whole season's on it, but a tremendous amount hinges on the Bengals being relevant, Burrow returning, clinging to that hope. A tremendous amount rides on this Thursday Night Football game.
And even that still feels like a long shot, but even if they were to win, it's like, all right.
This is a team that starts 0-2 every year, and then they just go and make the playoffs anyway.
Which is ironic because they started 2-0 this year.
Yeah, careful what you wish for.
It's like, I don't know. How good would they have to be with Flacco for Burrow to actually come back and have a shot?
Everything else is as expected. The defense is horrific.
Yeah.
And but the Bengals never sell at the deadline. The Bengals never trade. The Bengals never give in, probably to their detriment, because they just, until they're like statistically eliminated, they don't believe in that. Again, the owner's father was Paul Brown, who was like the best coach. Like Bill Belichick would say Paul Brown's the best coach ever. They're just as old school as old school gets. I think if they lose the next couple of games, even the Bengals might be sellers at the trade deadline, which maybe doesn't sound crazy, but they don't do that. But I think Trey Hendrickson could be on the block if they the next couple of weeks if they lose. So there will either. Yeah.
Should we switch it to good vibes and talk about the 3 of us in the Ringer Fantasy Football League?
We can, but first, I'm going to take a quick break. This episode is brought to you by American Eagle. I've got some hot picks for you guys. You heard it here first. American Eagle just launched the second drop of their exclusive limited edition collab with True Colors by Travis Kelce. And we're pretty excited to see what new styles are out now, from incredibly comfy graphic tees to cool jackets to vintage-inspired rugby sweatshirts. We just know you're going to find something fresh for your wardrobe. Not only that, but American Eagle also has so many new arrivals that just dropped, from trending jean fits to cozy flannels to luxuriously soft sweaters and more. You can check it all out at ae.com or just head to the store. Craig, good vibes in the Fantasy Football League for the Ringer here.
Yeah, the boys are buzzing. The 3 of us are in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place. We are all 4-2. Only Sal is technically ahead of us, although he is also 4-2. Yeah, Sal's a wagon.
Actually, I beat Sal this week.
DK, was it you who just beat Sal though?
I did, yeah.
You did, yeah.
I had one hell of a week.
You did. You went nuts. So anyway, things are getting interesting. Like the 3 of us are all in the mix, which is kind of exactly what we wanted. And Bill is 1-5. He's in last place.
The standings are wild. A 5-way right. Bill being in last is amazing. Bill being in last
Sal
is
being
incredible.
in first is also amazing.
Well, but it's tied. It's a 5-way tie for first place. It's the 3 of us and Sal and Sean Fennessy. Sal is the tiebreaker with the most points, but we're all 4-2.
Yeah.
And then House is at 3-3. So that's pretty amazing for five people to be tied for first.
A lot of parity.
Yeah. There you go.
So,
what did Sal say when he picked his punishment? He was like, "There's no way I'm losing."
Oh, that was Bill.
Yeah.
Bill said, "There's no way I'm getting last, so it's fine." The jersey.
No.
Bill,
Sal said that.
Oh, did Sal?
He was like, "There's no way I'm losing to Bill's team or whatever." And then Sal's just got
there's no way I'm losing to 5 quarterbacks that Bill.
And also, it's funny because I feel like my team's pretty solid, but I ended up having, again, for our fantasy league, we made the punishment you do a thing you can draft. So you actually can draft an easier punishment earlier. But the thing was, we did it live. So if you took a player that had already been taken, you had to take a punishment. That was the deal. I, who was fucking hosting the live stream, was lost track and I drafted someone. So my 8th round pick was, if I come in last, I have to eat a pizza. I have to eat a olive anchovy pizza.
Yeah.
But so I didn't even have an 8th round pick.
Anchovies.
Yeah, whatever. I didn't even have an 8th round pick.
So you're just building in excuses already. All right. I see how
not what I'm saying.
I'm just proud of myself.
If I win, I didn't take an 8th round pick.
I'm 2-0 without Lamar, so I feel like that's not getting enough talk, not enough buzz around the group chat. But I was kind of able to cobble together a couple wins. Just saying.
Kind of a weak schedule.
Put up north of 130 both weeks. That's not bad.
Didn't you beat Mal this week? Kind of funny to gloat to Mallory, a Ravens fan, about how beating her without Lamar Jackson. That's kind of like
I'm in second place, and Jayden Daniels has missed 2 weeks. So I mean,
all right, this is really veering into no one gives a shit. This is no one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Fantasy court. Do we have the fantasy court drop?
Oh, that was Tom Tom. That was Tom Tom.
Got you, Kai.
He's got trigger finger on the Tom Tom.
Kai is just in a spin cycle right now. Kai is just
Kai's
absolutely rocked.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, all right. Honestly, I'm just going to start reading this email, and Kai, you just play it, then just play it.
No, it's just Tom Tom.
I hope it becomes fart or sharp.
Keep all of this, Kai, even though they can't hear you.
Please keep it.
I think Kai's in shock that I won 2 games without Lamar.
Yeah.
So he's kind of frazzled.
Kai's like, no. Keep talking about how Jayden Daniels is out and DK and Craig persevered. That's sick.
Yeah.
You started it, pal.
All right, so fantasy court.
Definitely don't tell anyone about this thing that you're doing.
I don't really want to be handcuffed.
The definition of an object is a material thing that can be seen and touched.
This one's from Alec. Alex says, I'm requesting a Ringer Fantasy Court ruling for my 16-man Dynasty League.
Oh, wow. This guy's a sicko.
I'm the commissioner. A recent trade has raised a dispute. We've never had anything like this happen in league history. A manager put in the group chat that he wanted to trade future draft picks for a running back or a receiver. And then shortly afterward, he trades a 2026 second-round pick and a 2027 third-round pick for ETN.
Okay.
We thought it was Travis Etienne.
Oh.
But he actually traded for Trevor Etienne, the little brother of Travis, who's on the Panthers.
That's
because
tough.
on Sleeper, the Sleeper platform, it comes across, it just says TETN.
Yep.
Yeah, but it says the team he's on.
It does say the team. And so since trades don't automatically process, the commissioner, had to approve it. And I also pushed it through without realizing that it was Trevor Etienne. I also thought it was Travis Etienne for this trade. And I feel like I should have followed up with the manager before pushing it through, because there was an obvious mistake here, and a mistake so easy to make, I also didn't notice. The manager admits it was a mistake. That I think the guy who took Trevor Etienne was like, I didn't want Trevor Etienne. And it's basically 50-50 on the league about whether we should overturn this or not. But we did agree that however you guys rule, we will abide.
I love that people are so willing to listen to us.
Cede power to us.
Wait, what was the commissioner rule again? The commissioner has to approve the trade?
So that's just like normal. You know how it's like LM, instead of like a vote, it's just like LM, like sometimes the commissioner has to just hit the button and approve instead of just an automatically go through. So he just hit the button and then he looked, he was like, oh shit, that was Trevor Etienne for his future second.
I think it's on, as much as I want to defend the guy who traded away or who traded for the wrong ETN, I do think it's on him, right?
Really? Oh, I disagree. I think the commissioner should reverse this. This is like obvious that he didn't mean to trade for that guy. I don't know. This is I think we've had fantasy courts like this in the past where it's like, this isn't the point. You're not trying to trick someone when you trade him. Yeah. Whatever. Because there's been other instances of this where people get confused about which player they're trading for, I think.
So the guy's in the emergency room doesn't set his lineup. It's looking through decisions. But
if I was the commissioner, I would immediately reverse this because it's obvious the guy's not going to trade a future second for Trevor Etienne.
I don't know. Part of me is like,
he's not playing.
Which one is it? Travis or Trevor? Now
Trevor.
I'm confused. Yeah.
He traded for Trevor accidentally, but he wanted Travis.
Yeah.
This is one of those things. It's like, you're being a good faith commissioner if you reverse this trade. He did not mean to trade for this guy.
Look, that's the sensible solution. It's more like funny, fantasy football spirited. Hey man, this is kind of hilarious. Yeah, to let this stand. But
there's something to be said for looking at the finer details. I have to recuse myself from this case.
Are you in this league?
No, but I do have to. I may have engaged in this sort of activity in the past.
Yeah, see, that makes me feel even stronger that I'm right.
You participated? Was it a B. Robinson situation?
Yeah. So in fantasy I was in like 8th grade, and it was in this fantasy baseball league, and it was like a big shortstop era. There was like Jose Reyes for the Mets. There was Jimmy Rollins for the Phillies, and there was this guy on the Mets in like AA who's a catcher who's also was named Jose Reyes. So in fantasy baseball, it came out as Jose A. Reyes, but crucially, he had the little New York Mets next to him. So as long as you didn't click on the name, you would never know, unless you knew Jose Reyes' middle name. I may or may not have added Jose A. Reyes off of waivers and then traded him straight up for Jimmy Rollins.
Yeah, but you did that intentionally. The ETN person, I imagine it was the guy who accidentally traded for the wrong ETN was just earnestly clicked on the wrong name, I'm assuming, right? It wasn't somebody on the other side doing bad faith trading, correct?
I will check the email. I did ask for more clarification because I had the same question.
Yeah,
because
if
who
he
sent who for what.
Yeah. That is what we need to know. This, what this reminds me of? There used to be a guy on the Bears named Adrian Peterson.
Yeah. Oh, the one
like
getting ETN admits it was a mistake on his end. Oh,
so he reached out and he
it.
made the offer. Yeah.
So
it's tough. I don't know.
Now, I would argue, even in the screen. Now you're right. It says TETN. You're kind of on autopilot. I would argue. I may or may not have did this multiple times because there was also a reliever named Ryan Braun for years, and I kind of flipped him too.
Jesus, you're kind of a menace.
This is just a serial cheater.
In 8th grade, this guy named Kevin.
Never make a trade with him.
But
poor Kevin.
But I will say one thing about this, which is it says Carolina right
That's
there.
That's what I'm saying. It says the team name.
It says TETN Carolina. Now I get that it's Travis Etienne and you're kind of rushing, and maybe you don't know he has a brother. But it does say the name.
So to be clear, the guy who traded for Trevor Etienne
initiated the request.
He was the one who initiated the request. Okay, then that's fine. I think we keep it that way. If the other guy sent this and he was like basically fishing to get this guy to fuck up, that's different. In this case, I'm okay keeping it.
So as someone who also went fishing, I agree. If the person sent him a trade for Trevor Etienne, decline
I think
it.
This is
But if
intent.
he sent it, you think that so if this person sent it and clicked on it, think it was Travis, then you're like, oh, sorry, no picks next year.
It is funny that both him and the commissioner didn't notice this. By the way, I petitioned Sleeper to tell them to fucking stop with the first initial thing. They didn't listen to me. It's really annoying to me. Just put the whole name.
I feel bad. I do. I kind of feel bad for this guy, like kind of shooting this down. But I don't know. It's kind of a lesson learned situation.
The 22nd, a 2026 second. This is going to be like
in a 16-team league,
a big deal in a 16-team league.
Second and a third. Yeah, it's. I will say this: it's obvious. Making the trade stay is funnier. Reversing it is justice. Do we care about justice or making it funny? Because they're abiding by what we choose.
That's where I don't know that either.
I'm recusing myself. I've done this a lot.
No, but it's different. You legitimately
have to make
cheated
the choice.
Somebody.
Come on. You have to. So I'm going to go back to my original. Craig is saying keep it. I'm saying reverse it because it's good faith commissioning.
You know what I'll say? Here's what I'll say.
You make the call.
Can I make one more case?
Yeah.
I'm now maybe leaning to DK's side because regardless of what happens, the guy learned his lesson.
Yeah.
You know?
It in a 16-team league, a 22nd or a second round pick is actually pretty valuable.
If you reverse this trade, give him ETN back. Or whatever, fix everything. The guy who made this blunder, he still learned his lesson. He's never going to do it again. So,
can we make one part of this maybe as a can we make he has to change his team name to TETN?
Yeah, we got.
Is there something we want to name his
maybe
team?
he has to give a 4th round pick.
I was going to say forfeit that 3rd to keep the 2nd or something like that. The punitive.
I actually think that's
damages.
super fair. He gets the 2027 3rd. He gets to keep. He gets back in reverse ETN for 2026. I like that. That's fair. All right, that's the decision.
All right, there we go.
I like that. Okay, let's get to some emails here. I'm not gonna lie. You guys got to lock in. We have some good stuff.
All right. Okay. Fuck.
Hold on. Let me get my smelling salts.
Yeah. Woo. All right. First,
we got to do that. By the way, everyone's doing that. Did you see Pablo and Mina did it?
I'm so mad. We said we were gonna do it when we were in Los Angeles. We forgot.
I've never done it. Heifetz, have you?
Heifetz.
Oh yeah.
Guess where we're going next week?
Oh, Los Angeles. All right. Yeah, we'll order smelling salts to the office.
Literally, we only have one more show before we're in person.
Oh yeah. Okay. We'll mail them to the office. Okay. So we took a lot of emails here about labor. This one's from Alana.
Alana.
I love these.
Short and sweet.
Okay.
Hours after I delivered a baby, my husband, unironically, looks at me and says, "My back really hurts."
He's like, "I've been standing all day."
Oh my God. I accidentally read it. This is so fucking good.
I love these kinds of stories. I love
My back hurts.
My back hurts. Imagine saying that to your wife. It's like the same day she delivered this
Oh
baby.
my God.
And then this is an email from Ben.
Benny.
Bebo.
I truncated it, but basically he's like, I'm with my wife at the hospital in the middle of what ended up being 26 hours of labor. And she was in so much pain. They actually gave her fentanyl, and Ben says, I'm flipping channels at 3 a.m, being the dutiful husband, and I'm staying up all night trying to let my wife get a little bit of sleep. Turns out my wife is not really fully asleep, but is instead laying in her hospital bed in a fentanyl-induced half-sleep state, and says to herself in her half-sleep state, mumbling to herself, I'm in the worst pain of my life, literally creating a human. And this motherfucker's just sitting there watching Bob's Burgers. She's like, fuck this guy.
That's so
She
funny.
said, fuck this guy.
She said, fuck this guy.
Oh my
Fuck
God.
this guy about her
Sitting there watching Bob's Burgers. Fuck this guy.
husband.
I thought you were going to say that he was like on Skinamax or something
my
while she
God.
was asleep and she like woke up. To that.
Skinamax.
Oh, all right. The smelling salts gave you some prophetic powers. I can't wait.
Jesus
Hold
Christ.
on.
I don't even want to read
Hold
this.
on.
It's terrible.
Gotta stretch. I gotta stretch. If you've made it this far in the episode, you gotta stick with this. Oh, I am
my
so
God.
excited. This is all right. I'm sorry. I have to stretch.
Take a sip of water. Yeah, go ahead. I'm
Okay.
terrified where this is going.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
don't
hate
just
this guy
lock
already.
it. Don't bother it. This is from J-Bone.
J-Bone.
Oh, we can't even
J-Bone.
name him. It's so bad.
Fucking J-Bone. It's like a real
J-Bone's-
J-Bone.
J-Bone says, I'm from Austin.
Okay.
So my usual breakfast is either savory, I don't know how to pronounce it, kolaches, sausage, jalapeno, and cheese, or the go-to bacon, egg, and cheese avocado breakfast taco.
Heavy start.
Yeah, Austin has good breakfast. J-Bone writes, my first child was born Saturday morning, August 20th, 2011.
Oh yeah, Leo.
Big day. Life-changing. But as fate would have it, later that very night was also our very long-running fantasy football league draft.
Okay.
In this league, this is J-Bone, not me.
Right.
In this league, I'm basically face from the A team. I'm the smooth talker, resourceful, always finding a way to make things happen. My secret weapon for our fantasy football draft every year is each year I would recruit 2 dancers from a local gentleman's club to assist with the draft.
Okay.
And they would serve drinks, keep the energy high, and strategically provide just enough distraction to give me a competitive edge.
This
You
guy's
don't
hold on. He's recruiting strippers?
He has strippers work the draft so he can get like Jimmy Graham in the 12th round in the 2011
Are there any openings in
fantasy
this
draft.
league? Any
It's-
openings? Hit me up.
He
He,
says,
like
look,
he has strippers' numbers, in other words.
I don't know. And so the deal, he says the deal's simple. It's 12 league members, $100 each. The
Does
dancers
the
each
stripper
make,
like me or is this just her job?
it's just her job. No, he says the guys are all in IT with deep pockets. So I think the strippers just like them.
Okay.
They're just huge fans.
Okay.
He says the girls are treated well. They make a small fortune, and the fellas are all super happy. And I'd get to weasel in some really
It's a
good late round
win-win
picks.
across the board.
Yeah, they maybe not crossing off names on the papers so well.
What's funny is I bet those guys know what he's up to and they don't care.
They don't give a fuck. They're like, dude, this guy cares about fucking Maurice Jones.
Jimmy,
Drew?
have fun with Jimmy Graham. Who
Yeah,
cares?
it's like, who gives a shit? So J-Bone writes, I've always been very transparent with my wife, and she knows all about my yearly draft, quote, draft strategy. So, flash forward to my son being born the day of this draft. When our son was born that morning, my wife understood that 11 other guys were counting on me to pull off this sacred annual ritual. This day was like Christmas, their birthday, and the Super Bowl all wrapped into one evening for these 11 guys. And if I don't show, the entertainment falls through, and I'm the point man that makes this happen.
Can you imagine if the entertainment fell through?
Can
How
you imagine?
disastrous that would be?
Can you imagine? So J-Bone writes, so my wife let me slip away for a few hours that night under one strict rule. No drinking.
Okay.
That's it? Nothing else?
Because I'd be coming back to our newborn and my wife in the hospital. So no drinking.
He's just covered in glitter.
So to this day, unbelievable.
Going into the ER.
Yeah.
My jaw
He's
dropped,
inside of a cake.
So covered in frosting. So to this day, when our oldest son's birthday comes up, my wife still laughs and says to friends, "Oh yeah, our son's birthday, the night J-Bone went to a party with hookers." And every time,
Hookers.
every time I
not
jump
the
in, I
same
correct,
thing.
Jumped up a notch.
every time I jump in, I correct her. I'm like, it was exotic dancers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. I think what we've just created is a competition for the coolest wife of all time. And now please email
right.
us if you think you have the coolest wife of all time.
This is
'cause
like
that is a remarkable story.
this is like Andrei Kirilenko's wife, who was like, "Yeah, he gets to cheat on me once a year. It's fine." And
Is
everyone's
that,
like,
is that a thing?
"Oh, you don't know this?" Yeah, she's talked to this publicly. She's like, "Yeah, it's like because the NBA players, they're on the road 41 games a year, and it's a whole thing." Like
He's got like a hall pass.
yeah, he gets a hall pass. He gets one a year, and she's like, in my experience, if I didn't give it to him, he would cheat, and then I give it to him, and something about me allowing him to do it, I think actually when he does it, he actually feels worse and doesn't want to do it again.
Do you think he just still does it all the time?
He does it
I don't
once a
know.
year and he feels terrible.
I don't know. Not my marriage.
It's a smart idea by her, I think, trying to get ahead of it. But I don't know about that.
I don't want to speak for her. I'll read the quote she has. The quote is This is 2013. She said this. This is a quote.
Also, like her saying this publicly is interesting.
This is a quote. What's forbidden is always desirable. Athletes, particularly men, all are susceptible to all things they're offered. Same way raising kids. If I tell my kid, no pizza, you know what he wants? Pizza. And she goes on and she basically is like, yeah, if you want to do it, do it. But anyway, maybe that's
DK,
this guy's wife.
your
Maybe
thoughts.
J-Bone's Andrei Kirilenko.
My thoughts.
Yeah, go. DK, your biggest
I don't
takeaway.
know. How about just not cheat on your wife?
Better win for his wife or better loss for Kirilenko?
Loss?
Well, because now the
DK's like, what loss?
has been removed, according to his wife.
Right.
I whatever. Do what you got to do, but I don't know why you say this publicly. Why do that?
Yeah. I respect if this is the lifestyle they want to live, I can respect that. I do think it is funny that she's just like resigned to the fact that he will cheat on her. That's not great, but that's their life.
So anyway,
Okay.
that's this guy's wife in this
Very
email.
diplomatic. Yeah.
What would you like me to say, Craig?
No, I don't know. Just trying to get
I was
anything out of you.
amazed. Can you imagine? Like, you just zoom out for a second. This guy, I actually believe him when he's like, "I'm the A team. I'm the fucking face from A team of this draft." And I'm like, this guy. You zoom out in a sentence. You're like, this guy. The day his first child was born, went to his fantasy football draft with strippers, and then came back to the hospital.
Yeah, like I said, this is like an all-time wife move. I'm in shock.
Pretty chill. Weird.
I still laughing about the guy who told his wife his back hurts. so good.
Okay, this is another one. Last email
Was it
here.
Andrei Kirilenko's league? Is that who J-Bone is?
Yeah, probably. This email here is from DK's buddy from Seattle who didn't want to share his name.
Oh.
Okay.
No, nothing.
I'll call him B-Bone for Buddy.
Okay. So he writes. So I told the story for people who are not listening or who didn't hear, who have no idea what this is about. That joke in Austin Powers Goldmember where Dr. Evil gets hit in the nuts. He's like, wait, let me make sure they're still there. 1, 2, and 3, we're good. I saw that when I was like 7 years old and I got really concerned that I didn't have 3 balls. And I thought that for years. So anyway, I asked for stories like that and didn't expect this one. So DK's buddy, didn't want to be named, says, similar to Heifetz and the Goldmember story, I had a unique experience learning about how many testicles someone should have. When I was 14, I was in sex education. And in class, they talked about how guys have 2 testicles, which really surprised me because whenever I felt down there, I have 2.5.
A half?
Yes. He says, I have 2 full-size testicles and 1 clearly half-size testicle.
Interesting. How are they like?
That makes me very nervous.
Yeah.
This gives me tremendous anxiety. So continuing the email, he says, I went home from school that day, told my dad that I learned people are only supposed to have 2, but I have 2.5. And my father booked a doctor appointment immediately.
Yeah.
And after an ultrasound, they confirmed, yes, indeed, I have 2.5 testicles. It is rare, but nothing to be concerned about from a health medical standpoint.
Oh, okay.
How are they situated? That's what I'm trying to.
That's a good. Is it like a sandwich? Yeah. Where is the
like the third one's lower than the
offset?
other 2?
Yeah.
higher.
Does it move? Yeah.
He's your
Offset,
buddy,
like,
DK. Shoot
You
him a
know,
text.
you know, like the
Text
little
him.
like
Text
thing that
him.
you put on a desk. That's just like the two balls that like hit the middle ball, and then it creates like the perpetual.
The Newton thing? Yeah. It's just like that.
That's what I'm
That's
picturing.
where Newton got the idea.
Just the perpetual motion. Okay, so continue. Is that it, or
No, so he says,
Okay.
later on in life, in my 20s, I become friends with this comedian based in Los Angeles, and he hosts a successful podcast at the time. And so I fly down to LA, hang out with this comedian friend, and I sit in on an episode that he's taping. And it just so happened that for that episode, the two people on the show were porn stars.
love it?
And like
This was
kind
a
of
fantasy draft.
somewhat famous porn. Yeah. And then it was
Okay.
J-Bone. Yeah. So kind of famous porn stars. And he says, during the episode, they actually end up started talking about testicles. And I knew this was my moment to shine.
Oh no!
And so I blurted out, I have 2.5 balls. And I wasn't supposed to be anything but a spectator for this episode, but these porn stars start asking me questions. Thankfully, this was an audio only podcast, because the next thing I know, I am standing in front of 2 porn stars while they each took turns grabbing my balls to confirm that I actually have 2.5 balls.
They gave him a physical. Wow.
They had
Yeah.
professional
cough.
curiosity, if you
Yeah.
will.
Asked them to cough
Um,
and everything.
Wow.
And
I
then he
love this.
ended the email. I'm like, I feel like it was just getting good.
All right.
It's like, come on, redacted. Like, come on, man.
this is
Let's keep going here.
how porn starts, right? Like podcasts.
I wouldn't know. You tell me, DK. You freak.
This is your friend.
Okay, says the guy who watches Cinemax.
It's called Skinemax.
Skinemax, sorry.
Quietly,
Which I feel like you should know the most about.
I was gonna
actually
say-
don't know. Is Skinemax a real thing? I actually don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh, he's pretending. That's also it's
That's
one of those
quaint.
dated references. Like, I don't think Craig or I or anyone younger than us has ever like paid for porn.
Yeah, when I was like, 15 or whatever, it's like it's like midnight and you're like scrolling around the premium or like the cable channels that you
Right.
like if you have a subscription to HBO or whatever, and then it's always like the like weirdest like soft core drama, you know?
Yes.
And like you have ESPN on the last channel button ready to go just in case.
The most
The
like
previous button.
the most universal
course.
experience for men.
Like you have ears like a German shepherd waiting to hear if anything happens upstairs.
That's
Like
so
one ear
funny.
is like physically turned towards the doorway.
The last button.
Yeah.
It's your last salvation.
We should have gotten out of here so long ago. DK, thank you, DK. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Ronak. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, everyone who emailed in. Thank you to J-Bone's wife, but mostly thank you again to all the wives who deal with husbands while you're giving birth. That's, you know what? Sorry. Shout out especially to Alana. Sorry your husband's back hurt. I'm sorry to your husband's back. That
Can
must
you
have been
ask him
horrible
how
for
he's doing?
Yeah. Ask him how he's doing.
Get
Alana,
back to us.
let us know how your husband's back is doing. Rankings, fantasyfootball.thereno.com for updated rankings. Yeah, after the next episode, we'll be in Los Angeles together next week. So we're going to have a bunch of
All right.
episodes in person. We got to remember to do the smelling salts. Thank you, Lord.
Lord,
Thank you, Butthole Surfers. You guys ever heard of them?
was that a Skinemax channel?
Oh,
Hey, no, I don't know what that is.
I
Butthole
don't even know what to
Surfers?
say.
Butthole Surfers
I don't
was
even
a
know what to
band.
say.
DK, I gotta say, you have a naughty mouth sometimes.
You had a poop mouth.
Poop mouth, Ron. Poop words.
Craig, if I offered you some money from my wallet right now, would you forgive me?
Please tell me about this band that I don't want to say the name.
I
of
don't
again.
actually know a lot about the Butthole Surfers. They had a famous song called Pepper.
Okay.
And that's the extent of which I know about them.
Did they just like demand they didn't want to be popular? Like, why did they name their band the Butthole Surfers?
But we're talking about it now, like 30 years later.
How did you think of them?
Somebody told me to do it because we were talking about the band Pepper a while ago. And Butthole Surfers' main song is called Pepper.
So this conversation about
And I just
section porn had
remembered it
nothing to
randomly.
do. It's completely unrelated from the Butthole.
Well, yeah, that too. Started thinking about genitalia and
You're pretty sick, Chubbs.
they're an American rock band formed in San Antonio, Texas.
Have you seen that?
When dancing around, you tell me every fact except why they named the fucking band Butthole Surfer and also what part of the butthole we're surfing on here. How do you even surf that?
Okay, let's go here. Let's see. They had not
Craig
settled
started
on a
thinking,
name.
Craig's mind just went somewhere.
I don't know why they're called the Butthole Surfers. I should have done my research on this.
The fact you think I care about anything about these people other than that origin story.
It is tough to sell. Have you guys seen that video of the guy like pretending to be the lead singer of the Bare Naked Ladies? And it's like them pitching themselves to a music label for the first time.
Yeah.
And they're like, he's like, hey, what's up? So, yeah, we're really excited to see you guys. Like, what's your band name? And the guy's like, the Bare Naked Ladies. And they're like, okay, that's a pretty rough start. Going to be really hard to market. And he's like, yeah, but our big song starts like this: chicken to China to Chinese chicken. And they're like, get the fuck out.
Oh, that's really good.
Shout out to I don't know how you pronounce this, but I think it's Moschino Dorito. That guy's hilarious. He made that video. So anyway.
Great.
Goodbye, everyone. Must be 21 plus in present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus in present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.